God, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I've had about 4 hours.
Are we not doing math?
Yeah, we are. We're live.
Oh.
Yeah, we're talking. So are you tired?
I'm exhausted. What do you think? I just ran for mayor. Oh my God.
Was it a good experience? I gotta go to the top.
Go out. That's what I was trying to get to. Sorry.
I'm looking forward to the weekend. Well, good evening, America. It is 7 p.m. Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. And you know what that means? That means we're all damn tired. And this is Queer News Tonight, the world's first live LGBTQ daily evening news. It is time to queer up the news. The election is over, but it's really just getting started. We are going to provide the best LGBTQ analysis in America of what has happened and what is next.
In America, in the Big Finish, we take a look at Oregon's ballot initiative that legalized all drugs and also considered Daily Show's Trevor Noah suggesting Florida should be blasted off the map. We kind of agree.
And after last night, Etsy helps us smile and warm our broken hearts with amazing new race-embraced LGBTQ ad.
Exactly. So good evening, America. It is 7 p.m. Wednesday, November 4th, the day after Election Day. It is time to queer up the news. We are literally out of the closet and into the headlines, and so many of our stories of where we are tonight, we are going to tell on Queer News Tonight. The world's first live daily queer evening news show, out of the closet and into the headlines on Q News Tonight. Well, thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. We are live. This is an unedited live LGBTQ evening news show. So anything can happen, and as we're watching the results, anything can. This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective from the LGBTQ community. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and we welcome guest anchor Faye Wood. She's out, she's proud, and she's, believe me, I know this, she's certainly loud. She's a Latina to be reckoned with, half Puerto Rican, half Colombian, and 100% freaking New Jersey.
That's me.
She has the popular blog and YouTube channel, Faye What? Welcome, Faye.
Hola.
And hola, I love that. Next up is Bravo's Top Chef reality star, Chef Josie. She is one of the most popular LGBTQ personalities in South Florida. Influencer, political activist, and passionate about feeding the hungry. She owns the famous Bubbles and Pearls restaurant on Wilton Drive in the gayest place on planet Earth. Welcome, Chef Josie.
Thank you for having me.
Well, tonight we're going to bring you the queer headlines, and there's a lot of them. The LGBTQ community in America is diverse. The LGBTQ community around the world is vast, and we're going to bring you the bullet points of queer news, especially election news, for today, Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. We begin, of course, by queering up Vote 2020. America, have you heard? It's 50-50. LGBTQ America anxiously waits for a decision. Watch this.
The Associated Press has not called the presidential race at this point because neither of the candidates has gained the 270 electoral college votes that they would need to claim victory. So this morning, President Donald Trump appeared at the White House and he made premature claims of victories in several states and said he would take the election to the Supreme Court. That assertion of victory at this point does not match the information and data available to us, and so we are not calling the race at this point.
Well, first off, you know that Washington Post reporter, the only people that look more tired than her is Chef Josie and Faye What? All right, well, let's dive right in. And we're doing this right off of the cuff. You know, we're at 50-50. Let me just tell you, at this moment, of our broadcast, CNN is projecting the Electoral College vote for Joe Biden at 253, Donald Trump at 213. He needs 270 to be President of the United States. In irony, Arizona has been called by Fox News, so as a result, they are reporting that Joe Biden has 264 electoral votes.
Oh my God.
6 away, while President Trump has 214. Here's the most current results of the battleground states that are still to be decided, that have not been called. Nevada, Biden has approximately 588,000 votes. Trump has 580,000. And the smart money is leaning toward Biden in Nevada. In Pennsylvania, Trump has 3.2 million, while Biden has 2.8 million, but there are 800,000 votes still to be decided. Arizona is very close. I told you Fox has called it for Biden, and CNN still has it in the too close to call. Georgia has Trump at 2.4 million, while they have Biden at 2.35 million. It is that close with 6 million. And North Carolina, they show Trump at 2.8 million, while Biden is at 2.65 million. That is the breaking news at this moment. What do y'all think about what we're watching? It's 50-50 in America.
It's crazy right now. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I'm exhausted. I had COVID fatigue. Now I have election fatigue. I can hardly, there's so much going on. And Trump already asked for a recount on a bunch of states, didn't he? Saying that they didn't give him meaningful access to observe the opening of some of the ballots. Are you kidding me?
Are you?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we know that, I mean, he's been broadcasting his plan, his strategy, towards this election since this has been going on for the last year during his campaigning. So he also, put and secured the bag with a Supreme Court justice rammed through the process. So, I mean, we're in a situation right now. I'm glad to see that the popular vote is handedly,
3 million votes.
Yeah,
3 million.
that's Joe Biden, and it really brings to question the system that we continue to debate about, and that's the Electoral College. So, I don't know if today is a great day, but I'm holding my breath and just hoping that we get those 7 other electoral votes, and
Or 6.
Or
Could be
6.
just 6.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. We're all dead tired, first off. And not just us. Everyone in the LGBTQ community is dead tired. I think part of our disappointment last night and overnight and today is because we were really hoping for that big punch.
Yeah.
It's clear we're not going to get the big punch.
Right.
No.
But after that, we're willing to win by a decision in the boxing match for the World Championship.
For sure.
And that's where we're at. We're 6 electoral votes away from a new president of the United States. Tonight, America, LGBTQ America, we are going to give you LGBTQ America's best summary of the LGBTQ elections and what has gone on in the world. So let's cue it right up.
So let's start up with Queering Up Vote 2020. LGBTQ America's 5 key takeaways from election. It's not over, and it looks like there are days and days before we're going to know where the LGBTQ community sits in terms of election 2020. We have some victories in LGBTQ candidates and historic wins, but we are likely vulnerable to the overall results. So at the end of a tense election day with historic turnout, here are 5 key takeaways as Americans head into Wednesday, on edge and without a clear winner. First, the election won't be decided in a landslide. LGBTQ Democrats had hoped for a decisive and early victory for challenger Joe Biden, based on his strong polling lead in key battlegrounds and some traditionally Republican states. But early Wednesday morning, it was clear that the fight for an electoral college win was going to be closer than pundits expected, and that Donald Trump was more competitive than some progressives had anticipated. Second, the Midwest will play a key role in deciding a winner. With Trump holding on to Florida, Ohio, and Iowa, the campaigns are closely following the counts in the key battleground states, too close to call, especially Pennsylvania. Third, Arizona could be Biden's path to victory. Biden's Arizona win could be crucial to his path to victory. After Fox News declared him the winner early in the night, angering the Trump campaign, the AP called it for Biden just before 3 a.m. Arizona last voted Democratic for president in 1996. Fourth, it could be days before a winner is announced. The counting process could drag on for days before there is a clear winner. And fifth, divided government will continue for 4 more years. Regardless of presidential outcome, Democrats lost seats but held on to the House, and Democrats may not flip the Senate. Other quick takeaways are that we are in a crucial 48 hours. Our fate is still to be decided. Finally, LGBTQ community is still soft in the election process. Latino strength was far stronger than anyone understood, and the loss of Florida was a painful and ominous warning to the LGBTQ community.
What do you think, Josie?
I'm lost without words on this one. You know, it's I grew up in this town of South Florida. I grew up around the Cubans of South Florida. These are my friends, my family. I don't understand the appeal. I don't understand the draw, but I do understand that there's a lot of money in politics. And if you saw any of the back page ads for jobs during this election cycle, there was some big money getting paid to poll workers, poll watchers, I don't know, and maybe that includes some voters. Now, I'm not saying that's legal, but I wouldn't put anything past any of these politicians.
The biggest shock for me in South Florida and in Florida, the loss of Florida is a shock. Not because Florida could go either way, it's gone both ways, but what happened in Miami-Dade County. The Latino, especially the Cuban community in Miami-Dade County, combined with the voter turnout of Democrats in Miami-Dade County, have cost us 2 major congressional seats and the state of Florida. It's really shocking. At the end of the day, when we finish the week and I'm a little more recuperated, I am for sure going to blame Faye for everything that happened with the Latino community.
When in doubt, blame Faye. Pero mis latinos me dejaron sin corazón. ¿Cómo va a ser? I mean, you have left me without a heart and soul, Latinos. I really, really expected, Cubans, I expected you guys to come up, show up, suit up, and support. What happened? And I'm married to a Cuban. I might get a divorce over this.
Oh.
All right, well, let's not let that happen.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue and vote.
All right, so let's queer up Vote 2020. Gay bars in Houston and San Francisco transform into polling sites. The 2020 election was historic in an unusual way. Gay bars played a role in our democracy as they served as vote polling locations. Buddies, an LGBTQ bar in Houston, served as a polling place. They joked on their Facebook page, quote, "Vote in the front, party in the back." In San Francisco, famous The Eagle, a leather bar, also was a voting location. Poll workers, who were mostly not gay, said response was overwhelmingly positive. Queer News Tonight think this trend is interesting in that our community has never questioned polling locations in churches, for example.
We continue in Queering Up Vote 2020 and reporting Biden wins, but it's the popular vote. What's next for the Electoral College? Regardless of the outcome of the presidential election, the Electoral College will continue to come under intense scrutiny. 270 is the most important and the only number that counts today in LGBTQ America. That is the number of delegates needed to elect the President of the United States. The Republicans have lost the popular vote in every election cycle but one since the 1990s. Biden is currently approximately 3 million votes ahead of Trump, nearly the same that Clinton won in 2016, but still lost the election. Experts predict that Biden will eventually increase beyond Clinton popular vote numbers. This will again call the validity of a system that was created when the entire American vote electorate 250 years ago was less than the voting electorate of the city of Fort Lauderdale today.
Wow. Let's continue to queer up Vote 2020. Sarah McBride elected first openly transgender state senator. Sarah McBride, a 30-year-old organizer in Delaware, made history on Tuesday night as the first openly transgender candidate to be elected a state senator in American history. With her defeat of Republican Steve Washington, McBride will become one of the highest-ranking transgender leaders in the nation, stepping into office at a time of unprecedented challenges for the transgender Americans. Everyone at Queer News Tonight cheers the history made of her election.
Next, let's queer up Vote 2020. The sheriff fired her because she's a lesbian, so she ran against him. She'll be the new sheriff now. In a story that falls close to home, Charmaine McGuffey is going to be the new sheriff for Hamilton County, Ohio. She defeated Bruce Hoffbauer, her Republican opponent, in the general election with 52% of the vote. McGuffey made national headlines when she announced her decision to run for sheriff. She was challenging her former boss, Jim Neal, in the Democratic primary. Neal had fired her, McGuffey alleged, because she's a now lesbian. McGuffey easily defeated him with approximately 70% of the vote, getting sweet, sweet revenge.
We continue in Vote 2020 and reporting Mondaire Jones becomes the first openly gay black member of Congress. Mondaire Jones has made history in New York, becoming the first openly gay black person ever elected to Congress. A lawyer who ran on a progressive Democratic platform in New York's 17th congressional district, Jones bested his Republican opponent, Maureen McArdle Schumann. Mayor Anise Parker, president and CEO of the LGBTQ Victory Fund, said, quote, "Mondaire's victory is a milestone moment in our nation's politics, and his victory will inspire more people of color and LGBTQ people to run for office in their communities. Mondaire has been witness to the injustices faced by black people, LGBTQ people, and other marginalized communities, and he ran for Congress to be in a position to address them. He will be a powerful voice for change, and his impact will extend far beyond a single vote in the U.S. House," end quote. Again, Queer News Tonight celebrates this historic moment.
We continue to queer up Vote 2020. Shevrin Jones elected Florida's first openly gay state senator. A Florida Democrat has become the first openly gay state senator to be elected in the Sunshine State. State Representative Shevrin Jones won an open state Senate seat in South Florida after a contested primary that he won in August. He is expected to be one of only two out LGBTQ black men serving in state senates in the United States, along with Jabari Brisport, who was running for state senate in New York. Shortly after Jones's story went viral, voters in Jones' district began receiving anti-gay robotexts saying, quote, "The Miami Herald reported that Shevrin Jones was discriminated against for recent homosexual contact," end quote, and directed people to a fake website. But there was a backlash. Jones ended up winning his primary handily. This race was so important for the LGBTQ community because the openly racist and homophobic response to his campaign.
Next, let's queer up Vote 2020. Socialism wins, but not in the way you think in the gayest place on planet Earth. Latinos deliver for Trump in Florida. Perhaps one of the greatest surprises to election results is what happened in Miami-Dade County, Florida. The powerful Cuban American and Latino vote delivered a victory to Trump. The traditionally blue county had one of the highest metro area votes for Trump in America. This voting bloc also delivered a change of 2 House seats to the Republicans. The campaigns in Miami-Dade County were unique because how often commercials suggested Biden and other Democrats were, quote, socialist. The attack seemed to work. Remember, this is where Queer News Tonight broadcasts, and we suggest the gayest place on planet Earth. In Florida, clearly, we still have a long way to go.
We continue inquiring up the Vote 2020 and reporting Fort Lauderdale's LGBTQ mayor, Dean Trantalis, is re-elected to a second term. Watch this.
Dean, we all, on behalf of everybody at It's Happening Out, we congratulate you because this is really an amazing...
Straight, gay, lesbian, transgender, the entire city has come out here.
The county in general is unique in being a majority minority county. Latino, black, gay, women, etc.
Right. That is correct.
Why so much diversity here? How has this community survived its embracement of such dramatic
Because
diversity.
we build roads, we build bridges, we don't build walls. We embrace people from all cultures.
An awesome moment at Pride Fort Lauderdale. The LGBTQ candidate Dean Trantalis has been re-elected as Fort Lauderdale's mayor by a significant 58% of the vote. Fort Lauderdale is home to Happening Out Television Network, and Trantalis has been a frequent guest in our reporting on the LGBTQ community. Trantalis had over 48,000 votes, besting his opponent, Ken Cooper's nearly 36,000 votes, in a race primarily focused on clean water and improved infrastructure. Trantalis is an attorney with his offices on the famous Wilton Drive in LGBTQ-centric Wilton Manors.
And so we continue to queer up Vote 2020. Wilton Manors elects straight mayor and city commission no longer all LGBTQ. There are some changes for Wilton Manors, Florida, home to Queer News Tonight, broadcasting from the gayest place on planet Earth. In January, the LGBTQ mayor, Justin Flippin, unexpectedly died, and his death made national news. Wilton Manors was the first city in America to have an LGBTQ mayor and all LGBTQ city commissions. That changed in the 2020 elections when LGBTQ ally Scott Newton was elected as the new mayor, defeating LGBTQ candidates Julie Carlson and our own beloved Josie Malave. He won the mayor's vote with 44.7% of the vote. Both new city commission seats were won by LGBTQ candidates. Mike Brocky, did I say that right?
Yeah.
I did? Okay, good, because I'm kind of like blocking that out because I wanted Josie to win. Okay, and Chris Caputo with 32.4 and 275% of the vote respectively. It's Happening Out Network congratulates the leadership of the gayest place on planet Earth.
Next, let's queer up business. Black gay couple embraced by family in heartwarming Etsy ad. We need a smile and a tear to help heal some of our LGBTQ broken hearts. So business giant Etsy helps us when they bring together race issues, black family acceptance of LGBTQ, and specifically gay men, and then deliver the message that there's better days ahead. So it's just a commercial. But sometimes a commercial message can say everything we hope for. Watch this.
Don't worry, they're gonna love you.
Oh my God, you mean it? Hey, Shevrin, I thought y'all got lost or something. Y'all did you put some hair in the
We didn't forget about you. Welcome to the family.
Thank you.
Wow. I love it.
Sometimes a commercial embracement hits a bullseye, and in a time when we've watched so much race issues and so much rejection in the black community to the LGBTQ community, this commercial is a bullseye and brilliant, and Etsy, congratulations.
It was beautiful and it made me cry, and maybe I'm just too exhausted, or maybe my time of the month is coming, but it was just wonderful. I loved it. I want one of those little ornaments. Okay.
Marcy can make you one. I'll make sure she gets on it. But yeah, I couldn't echo you more, Al, because
Yeah, I'm out.
We're
We're dead tired. Just telling you. We're dead.
oh my God, this election cycle is not over. Okay, it's not over. It's taking every inch, every ounce from us. But Al, I have to echo you because it's true. In the black community, and especially LGBTQ black community, this is exactly what we need to start building the bridge and really opening the minds and the acceptance conversation within the black community. This is dialogue. It's a part of the solution. So
Absolutely.
Thanks, Etsy.
That's our Vote 2020 recap. I think we have probably done the best LGBTQ recap in the country. Let's move on, however. Next, let's catch up on all the news surrounding COVID-19 with our segment we call Quarantine Quickies. There is a lot to discuss during this pandemic, so let's get it underway. We begin with Quarantine Quickies, and it's also a Vote 2020 conversation. What does the election mean for what's next in COVID-19? Watch this.
You are a member of the FDA's Vaccine and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee, which met last Thursday for the first time to discuss possible COVID-19 vaccines. With politics now so prominent, unfortunately, in the discussion around vaccines, what should the American people know about this process around the approval of an eventual vaccine?
Right. Well, I can see how the American public would be skeptical. I mean, we through the so-called emergency use authorization process, the FDA approved hydroxychloroquine, which didn't work to either treat or prevent the disease and frankly was unsafe. They also approved the use of convalescent plasma, which also has never been shown to work. So I can see where they would wonder whether the FDA really is doing its job, which is to stand between the pharmaceutical industry and the public to make sure that we don't get products that are unsafe or ineffective. I don't think it's going to play out that way with vaccines. The FDA Vaccine Advisory Committee is composed of people who are academics. They're not associated with the government. They're not associated with the industry. I can tell you as a voting member of that group, I feel no pressure from the government to do anything other than my job, which is to look at the data as these vaccine trials are being presented to us and answer the question, are these vaccines safe enough and effective enough to be given to the American public? Would we give these vaccines to our own parents or children or grandchildren, et cetera? So I think that's the question we're going to all answer.
All right, Dr. Paul Offit, thanks for giving us and the American public that assurance. I'm sure a lot of people certainly welcome that word of confidence.
Well, in the weeks leading up to the election, Queer News Tonight has done our best to accurately report the current situation of our pandemic in America for the LGBTQ community. For 10 months since our first week of broadcast, on the 1st of January 2020, we have reported on coronavirus in every news show. In recent weeks, we have reported we are at record new infections, record hospitalizations, and record death tolls. So as we report LGBTQ COVID-19 cases and deaths, the election may be a major turn to what's going to be next in the pandemic. Queer News Tonight's special contributor, Dr. Howard Grossman, has suggested that the re-election of Trump will determine what happens next. So tonight, we have reported all of the most important Vote 2020 news about the election of our lifetime, and we remind you that what happens on the election will be what happens next for our pandemic response. Pay attention.
Please pay attention. I mean, because this fight is nowhere near over. I know that in a bunch of countries, they're deploying military to help with contract tracing this week. And, you know, my brother lives in London and he's waiting for information for tomorrow. He's waiting because they're going to go back on a lockdown soon for a month. I mean, you know, things are still happening. Just because this election is happening does not mean that COVID is any way, shape or form docile.
Yeah, you know, and as a small business owner, that sounds like a really scary conversation, considering we lost, you know, so much revenue during the original shutdown. And I was a big supporter of keeping it closed until we eradicate and get the virus under control. Now we've let it spiral, and you know, this is gonna come as a really big hit to small businesses around the country.
I might not be popular, but if Trump wins the election, we don't know, if he wins the election, I'm going to try not to rail just against him just categorically, because it's of no value. The election will be settled. He is going to reopen America no matter what. We'll have to deal with his reopening no matter what. And so the number one thing that we can do is wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
That is our Vote 2020 news in addition to COVID. We want to remind you that Happening Out Television Network is broadcasting on our permanent set in partnership with the Sunshine Cathedral. That's a positive story. The world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We always joke, this is the gayest place on planet Earth, and you've watched this in the last 25 minutes. These two are certainly gay. Help me too. Our support of their Sunday celebration is the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world, every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it is completely live. We encourage you to tune in, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church, and I'm going this Sunday. Watch.
My name is Reverend Rendell. I'm volunteer clergy, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Well, we'd also like to thank Concepto Modern Living for helping us create this set in this magnificent queer church campus.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Remember, if it's important to the LGBTQ community, it's important to Queer News Tonight. But you must help us. Click subscribe on your YouTube, ring the bell for updates, and share this news.
We are literally out of the closet and into the headlines, and this is the only source of live LGBTQ news in the world. Your community needs your support.
You are not alone. We will get through this crisis.
We are here with you, and this is Queer News Tonight.
So thank you, America, for joining us. I'm Al Ferguson, and on behalf of Faye Watt and Chef Josie, we will see you daily and tomorrow at 7 p.m., hopefully with a decision. Good night, America.